Ahoy hoy, I'm reasonably British. Today we're going to do a quick unboxing of a brand new unopened XP Super Pro S VHS cassette tape by TDK. TDK, which stands for
東京電気化学工業株式会社。あなたは不快な外見で私に不名誉を与えます。
is a Japanese billboard magnate with signs in Tokyo, London and Times Square. Apparently, they also once dabbled in magnetic tape, of which this is a fine example. Let us first examine the shrink wrap. The front is quite pleasing, emanating a feeling of, ooh, gold, this must be good. The design is relatively simple and elegant. Points, however, must be deducted for the inclusion of a French translation, which also deeply tarnishes the back of the wrapping. Yuck! So much French. Though I do enjoy the colors, and this still feels professional. This seems to have been made around 1991, and it has a total picture quality index of 603. My, that's quite impressive and a totally legitimate system of measurement. I would love to meet the engineer who managed to squeeze those extra 3 points out of this tape. Despite the French, I heartily approve of the shrink wrap. It more or less effectively expresses the level of quality it claims to be. I give it 3 Skarsgårds. Time to open it. Peeling the shrink wrap is a satisfying, almost lubricious experience. A cutting implement is not needed, and the inside looks... oh my, look at that gold lettering. Ooh! The elegant simplicity, the tasteful thickness of it. Oh my God, it even has a watermark. This is truly exquisite. So simple. A logo appears only where it's needed. Every other side is blank, save for a subtle black stripe which seems to whisper, this is where it spits. Everything about this case expresses either beauty or function. It is nearly divine. The golden theme carries on to the tape itself, which is very pretty, but not quite at the same level as its case. The label is highly glossy and of supreme print quality. Any sign of imperfection is invisible to the unaided eye. However, this S bugs me. It's redundant. It's already here in the Super VHS logo. This XP Super Pro is also redundant, and they didn't really need to write out Super VHS. Removing these duplicates would have given the design more breathing room and may have brought the tape up to the same level as its case, but nope, the tape gets merely 1 Skarsgård and a lesser Baldwin. Let's take a look at the video quality. I'm using a Blackmagic Intensity 4K for both playback and capture via S-Video both ways. The VCR I'm using is a JVC SRV 101 US, which supports Super VHS, hi-fi audio, and has a built-in time-based corrector. This is supposedly one of the better consumer VCRs for video capture, and the quality is surprisingly not bad. I remember the 90s being much fuzzier than this. Just for reference, this is the original video, ripped from Blu-ray, and this is the SVHS tape. And this is with the digital R3 edge correction turned off. And now without the time-based corrector. And this is the same video recorded on a plain old non-Super VHS cassette. Moving on to the audio, which is recorded in VHS Hi-Fi, the highest of fidelities. It is surprisingly good quality. I mean, seriously, I'll step away for a bit and you just listen.
Make foolish people do. I never dreamed that I'd meet somebody like you, and I never dreamed that I'd lose somebody like you. No, I don't wanna fall in love. No,
Okay, I'm back. Wasn't that very not too bad? I mean, it's got some issues and we'll get into that, but I don't usually associate VHS with anything of that high quality. The song I used is a lossless rip from the original 1989 CD release of Wicked Game by Chris Isaak, and I think it's one of the best recordings ever made. I mean, just listen to that thick, luscious, creamy Lexicon reverb. You just want to go skinny dipping in that reverb. And this was recorded before the loudness wars, so it actually has dynamic range. Compare the waveform for this song versus Go With The Flow by Queens of the Stone Age, released in 2002. And I'm not trying to poop on Queens, by the way. Songs for the Deaf is also an amazing sounding album. Oh, listen to me. All this talk of dynamic range when in the end, YouTube's going to have their way with it. Now, let's attempt to be a little more objective than, ooh, that sounds nice. This is a spectrogram of the first 90 seconds of the CD rip of Wicked Game. Notice the definition all the way up to 22,000 Hertz, the limit of a CD. And this is from the VHS Hi-Fi. Here, the detail past 21 kilohertz is lost to the noise floor, but 21 kilohertz is still way beyond the threshold of what most adults can hear. Besides the higher noise floor of the VHS Hi-Fi, there is also a constant noticeable addition at a bit below 16 kilohertz. This seems to correlate with the NTSC horizontal line rate of about 15.7 kilohertz. To my knowledge, the VCR is the only thing I had operating at that frequency during this process. I know you're saying, what do you mean NTSC? Well, I did say reasonably British. I'm not absurdly British. And just for comparison, here's the song converted to a 192 kilobit per second MP3 file. And here it is recorded on non-Hi-Fi VHS. I think VHS Hi-Fi is a great improvement on the VHS standard, but as a standalone audio format, it's about 3.6. Not great, not terrible. There's a lot of noise, which perhaps could be mitigated somewhat if you found an actual professional VCR with balanced XLRs for the audio, but that's still just a perhaps. And VCRs are not known for reliability, especially after 20 years. If this lo-fi type of hi-fi sound is what you're going for, more power to you. But I expect you get more value out of a prosumer 4-track audio cassette recorder or an old reel-to-reel, although they can be quite expensive. So to summarize, the case is pretty, the tape is a bit less pretty, SVHS is nicer than VHS, and VHS Hi-Fi is not too shabby. I'm not sure the point of this video. It went from an unboxing to a standards comparison. Oh well. It's over now, so you can bugger off.